Hey, Shalom Malcolm, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Merchakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth, and that's still teaching this truth. And much peace, love, and salutation to the elect, beginning with the 144,000, all the way down to the large multitude that believes in who the Lord will deliver in these last days. To you all, I say Shalom. I'm the brother Tazamon from the Great Millstone Dallas camp, coming back today with another lesson. And Lord willing, this lesson will be edifying to the elect. And I wanted to do sort of a land back lesson off the lesson that Apostle Gabar did, entitled, as you see here, it says, "No control over our flesh brings disaster. Mastering our flesh by emulating the greatest sage of all." All right, and this was a very, very, very edifying lesson. Very, very edifying. Very, very, man. Just this is a good lesson, that makes you meditate upon examining yourself. And what the apostle was going into the fact of how Marcus Aurelius would one of the things that he would do before going to sleep he would look into his inner sage, which I want to say that the sage that he looked into was Zeno, if I'm not mistaken. But pretty much he would measure himself to the standard of his mentor, or he would measure himself to the standard of, did I walk according to the standard of how my leader or how my mentor would walk? Do I measure the standard? And that's a good concept to take on a daily basis, just based upon, the things that we do, the actions that we do, the things that we speak. I hear Apostle Gabar say this a lot. It's like you're only as good as the last good deed that you do, for lack of better words. And Yahawashi, being the author, the author and the finisher of our faith, he's the prime example of, he's the prime example. I mean, that's just what it is. The scripture says, matter of fact, let's actually get that. Well, before we get that, let's actually, I'm going to pull something up here. There's a phrase in the world that says, what would Jesus do? And we understand and know that his name isn't Jesus. You know what I'm saying? But when you get this term, what would Jesus do, which his name is Yahawashi, so we'll say, what would Yahawashi do? The term, what would Yahawashi do, or WWJD, but we will say with WWYD, is also perceived as a fundamental management and leadership principle given Yahawashi's methodology of going to the marketplace to preach and lead by example. And those are the two things, those are the main two things that are commanded of us, going to the highways and hedges and preaching. What was one thing that Yahawashi said? All right, Yahawashi said, he said, my meat is to do the will of him that sent me and to finish his work. In John 6 and John 6, did I pass it? Salakia, hold on one second. Or is it John 4 and 34? My bad, hold on one moment. Right, Salakia, this is John 4 and 34. It says, John 4 and 34, Yahawashi saith unto them, my meat is to do the will of him that sent me and to finish his work. You see? And just as Yahawashi was on a mission, we're on a mission. You see? We're on a mission, and in this world that we live in, whether, we're in this flesh, whether we have, families and children and parents, we have jobs, we live our life. This is nothing more than just a temporary dwelling place that our spirits rest in until we get back ultimately into our former habitation, which is back into our glorious bodies that Yahweh Bashem Yahawashi has stored for us in the heavens. Remember, Yahawashi said, glorify thou me with the glory that I had with thee from the beginning, when you read in John the 17th chapter. So Yahawashi understood his mission. He understood the mission. He understood the concept of what he was supposed to do while he was here in the flesh. He fell when he was he fell as Adam. He failed as Solomon. So when he came on the scene again, He got it right, and he was laser focused. You see, so the same mindset that Yahawashi had, he left us an example, okay, of what to do when it comes to preaching the word, being instant, in season, out of season, being fervent about his father's business, and being a leader, exuding the greatest leadership qualities that the world has ever witnessed. Yahawashi was the greatest leader that the world has ever seen. There's been many leaders on the planet Earth, but Yahawashi was the greatest leader and revolutionary that the world has ever witnessed. When people hear the word revolutionary, they may think of like a Fred Hampton or a Marcus Garvey or Martin Luther King or whatever the case may be. But realistically, the greatest revolutionary was Yahawashi. He's the one that he revolutionized the game. And with Yahawashi's sacrifice and what he did, he revolutionized the game so much. He revolutionized the game so much that now we even have an access to be able to be granted with the same likeness of him. You see? So that term, as we read here, what would Yahawashi do, is also perceived as a fundamental management and leadership principle given Yahawashi's methodology of going to the marketplace, being instant, preaching. When Yahawashi when he began his ministry at 30 years old, you see, he had a 3-year ministry. You see, and within that 3-year span, he had to get the apostles, which were at that time disciples, ready to pretty much follow in his footsteps. Whereas Yahawashi literally duplicated himself. You see, he literally duplicated himself when he was on the scene, and he had 12 disciples, which became apostles, which exuded that same mindset of Yahawashi into the fellow believers. So it's literally like a duplication of Yahawashi. You see, it says, go into the marketplace to preach and lead by example. To lead by example. And there's plenty of examples that Yahawashi gave unto us to follow. All right, this is John chapter 13. And this lesson ain't going to be too long. This is John 13, verse 15. Let's actually start at verse 12. It says, so after he had washed their feet and had taken his garments and was set down again, he said unto them, know ye what I have done to you? Ye call me master and Lord, and ye say, well, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and master, have washed your feet, ye also ought to wash one another's feet. You see, so, Yahawashi being the Lord, being the master, being the ruler, he humbled himself and washed his disciples' feet. You see, and when you go into that custom of washing of the feet, that was like the lowest of the totem pole servitude position that anybody could do. Like that was like the lowest you could go, was washing somebody's feet. And Yahawashi being the Lord and ruler, he came down into the flesh and dwelt in a world that he made. He washed his disciples' feet, man. Which is the highest level of humility that anybody can show. All right, verse 15, it says, for I have given you an example. You see that? I have given you an example. Okay, now let's get this word example in the Greek. That word in the Greek is hupad egume.
Strong's G 5262. Hupadigma.
Hupadigma. Okay, and that word example literally says an example for imitation. You see, when you imitate somebody, or when you mimic somebody, or when you mimic something, you're literally replicating something. You see, so Yahawashi left an example for us to replicate when it comes to serving the brothers. You see, having love for the brethren. As it says, as a matter of fact, let's get that real quick in Hebrews 13:1. Okay. Hebrews 13:1, it says, let brotherly love continue. You see, and Yahawashi exuded the greatest example of a brother that anybody can show. The Apostle Paul said, let this mind be in you. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, he did write that in Philippians, which we're going to get. But he said, be ye followers of me as I'm a follower of Yahawashi HaMashiach. You see? So the Lord Yahawashi, he gave us an example to imitate, to mimic, to follow. Okay? So it says, going back to John 13:15, it says, "For I have given you an example that ye should do as I have done to you." You see that? Let's read that last part again. That ye should do as I have done to you. So as Yahawashi treated his brothers, that's the same example of how we are to treat one another. And that's a fulfilling of the law. Okay? A fulfilling of the law is loving your neighbor as you love yourself. That's a fulfillment of the law. That hangs the law and the prophets all on one accord. Okay? Let's get the book of 1 Peter. 1 Peter 2, and let's start at verse 18. It says, "Servants, be subject to your masters with all fear." And we have masters on the planet Earth. Okay? Masters is just another way of saying like ruler. Not only to the good and gentle, but also to the forward. You see, because you got different types of rulers, right? "For this is thankworthy. If a man for conscience toward the Most High endure grief, suffering wrongfully." And Yahawashi was the prime example of suffering wrongfully, man. He was the prime example of suffering wrongfully, but he understood his mission at the end of the day. He understood his goal. He understood the objective. And the main objective was to what? Get back to that former glory. To do the sacrifice and to get back to that former glory that he once had before. Which, if we're of the elect, we once had a former glory. Remember, the elect were given to Yahawashi from the foundation, from the beginning. Yahawashi said out of his own mouth, he said, "Thine they were." In thine, he said, "Thine they were." Matter of fact, let me get it real quick. "Thine they were," John 17. Right. He said, John 17:6, "I have manifested thy name unto the men which thou gavest me out of the world. Thine they were, and thou gavest them me, and they have kept thy word." You see, so the elect were given to Yahawashi, but they originally belonged to Yahweh, and he gave the elect unto Yahawashi as an inheritance. You see, and as Yahawashi is going to do, he's going to share that inheritance with them. He's going to share that inheritance with his elect. You see? So going back, he said, "For this is thankworthy, if a man for conscience toward the Most High endure grief, suffering wrongfully. For what glory is it if, when ye be buffeted for your faults, ye shall take it patiently?" And Yahawashi showed how to be patient. He showed how to endure. You see, at the snap of a finger, Yahawashi could have easily took down a Roman Empire. Yahawashi could have blunked and the empire could have been gone and done away with. You know what I'm saying? But no, he understood. He understood the role. He understood the mission that he had to do to be the sacrificial lamb. He said, "But if, when ye do well and suffer for it, you do good, but you suffer for the good that you do, ye take it patiently, this is acceptable with the Most High." You see? Sirach, the 2nd chapter says, "My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate." That's acceptable with the Yahawashi. Remember, the scripture says that he had taken us into the furnace of affliction. What's that? Isaiah the 45th chapter. Furnace, affliction, addiction. There we go. Isaiah 48:10, it says, "Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction." You see, we've been chosen by Yahweh B'Shem Yahawashi to go through the furnace of affliction. To go through hell, to suffer wrongfully, to be reproved, and to be rebuked for the better, to be reviled, to be hated. The Lord chose us for that, because ultimately at the end of the day, it comes with a blessing because Yahawashi had to go through it. You see, verse 21, it says, for even hereunto were ye called, right? Because Hamashiach Yahawashi also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps. You see, so the Lord gave the prime example of how we are to follow his steps when it comes to controlling how we speak. You know, controlling the things that come out of our mouth. Controlling our emotions. You see, I think it's in Colossians. Matter of fact, I think it's in Colossians, the 3rd chapter, where it says, in word and deed, do all in the name of Yahawashi. Let me see. Man, I ain't read the scripture in a long time. In word, let me see real quick. In word and deed, name. Let's see. Okay, Colossians 3:17. That's what it is. This is Colossians chapter 3, verse 17. It says, and whatsoever ye do in word or deed, so the things that we speak, okay, and the things that we do, right? Do all in the name of the Lord Yahawashi, giving thanks to the Most High Yahweh, the Father, by Him. You see, so we're vice regents of Yahweh by Shem Yahawashi. So the things that we do, how we act, how we speak to one another, how we treat one another, how we conduct ourselves in the world, we do it all in the name of Yahweh by Shem Yahawashi. And we want to make sure that we don't do anything to whereas the ministry could be blamed. You see, because that's one thing that Yahawashi was keen on. He didn't do anything while he was in the flesh to have the ministry be blamed. He was innocent. You see? Now, does that mean that you can follow, the law, statutes, and commandments 100%? No. No, you cannot follow the law, statutes, and commandments 100%. It's impossible. If that was the case, then Yahawashi would have no need to even come. You see? But we do have an example because the scripture says, walk in the spirit and ye should not fulfill the lust of the flesh. So, it's a good example, a good mindset to have with everything that we do, how we speak, our actions, how we move, just to have the simple thought. What would Yahawashi do here? Would Yahawashi do this? Would Yahawashi react this way? And it's easier said than done. You see, but that's what it takes, tapping into the spirit. Remember, Yahawashi said himself, he said, the words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. Okay? Philippians 2:5, let this mind be in you. Okay, let's get this word mind real quick. Let this mind be in you. That word mind is phraneo. Okay? Phraneo. And it says here, let me go down a little bit. All right, let's look at the other one. Let's see, number 2. Have this mind in you. Be intent within yourselves on this. So that you got to have this within your mind. You got to be intent, to have this intent within ourselves. You see, some habit of thought, a habit of how we think. You see, it's easy to form bad habits, but it's hard to form good habits. You see, because bad habits, a lot of times the bad habits come from the flesh, but the good habits come from the spirit. So it says some habit of thought expressed by deeds exists in one. So it's the thoughts that you have, but it's expressed by your deeds. That's why the scripture says that faith without works is dead. I'll show you my faith by my works. So your faith in Yahweh by Shem Yahawashi is predicated off your works and your habits that you do based on your deeds. You see? Either your deeds can be predicated upon Satan or your deeds can be predicated upon Yahweh by Shem Yahawashi. There ain't no gray areas. That's what it means, let this mind be in you. You see, because before you do anything, before you actually act out a deed, it comes into your mind first. And then you play it out. You see? So it says, let this mind be in you, which was also in Hamashiach Yahawashi. See? Point blank and to the point. Period. Yahawashi said, take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek. He said that in Matthew 11:29. You see? It's also written, Luke the 6th chapter. He said, why call ye me Lord, Lord, and do not the things that I say? You know? So if the Lord commands a particular action, he commands us to do particular things, we got to do it. Because he did it. He casted away his flesh. You know, he casted away the cares of this life to what? Get back to that glory. That's what it means when it says, he that hateth not father or mother or wife and children, brother and sister, and not his own life also is not worthy to even be my disciple. Because you gotta cast off the affairs of this life. You see? And when you do that, it causes you to be hated amongst that realm of people. Our devotion is supposed to be towards Yahawashi first and foremost, and everything else is second. So at the drop of a dime, you know, if it commands you to be on the move, you gotta be on the move and not worry about the emotions and feelings of the cares of this life. Okay, let's get two more. This is Romans chapter 15, verse 3. It says, "For whatsoever things were written." Excuse me. Let's start at verse 3. It says, "For even Hamashiach pleased not himself." You see, so he didn't please himself. He didn't come on the scene like, yeah, I'm the son of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Everybody need to bow down to me. You know, he came lowly. He came lowly on a donkey. You know, a lot of times of the miracles that he would do, he would tell the person he healed, he'd be like, man, look, don't let nobody know, you know, that I did this. Just go, you know, just go in peace. You know? So it says, for even Hamashiach pleased not himself. It says, but as it is written, the reproaches of them that reproached thee fell on me. You see, so the insults that people give to Yahweh B'Shem Shai, how they move and how they act, it all falls upon us. And that's why we're reproached. It ain't because people just genuinely just hate us. They hate Yahweh B'Shem Shai. So in respect, or not, excuse me, not, I meant to say in retrospect, the world is going to hate us. Okay? It says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. You see? So the things that are written before are examples unto us on how we should move and maneuver today. Now, the power of patience and consolation grant you to be like-minded one toward another according to Hamashiach Yahawashi. Let's read that verse again. It says, now the power of the power of patience and consolation grant you to be like-minded one toward another according to Yahawashi Hamashiach. So we gotta be in one mind and be in one spirit. When you got somebody preaching this way and somebody acting this way towards a brother, there's all kinds of schisms. It don't work that way. Eventually, that leaven gotta be removed. The scripture says that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. You know, remember when you read in Revelation, man, the 7 golden candlesticks, which are the churches. You know, Yahawashi mentioned specifically, he was like, man, look, if you don't get this in order, man, I'll remove your candlestick. Meaning, like, I'll remove that whole church. I'll remove the whole church. And we don't want that. We don't want that to happen. You know? That's why the scriptures talk about the straight gate, man. Going through the straight gate and going through the straight path. 1 John 2:6, last scripture says, he that saith he abideth in him ought himself also so to walk even as he walked. Let's read that. That's heavy. Let's read this in the NLT. Those who say they live in the Most High should live their lives as Yahawashi did. And that's cutting to the point. If you say that you follow and you're a servant of Yahweh B'Shem Shai, right, you should live your life just like Yahawashi did to the best of your ability, because he is our sage. He is our example. Yahawashi said, be ye therefore perfect as my Father is in heaven. You know, Yahawashi's sacrifice didn't give us a leeway to be just mediocre and lukewarm and, you know, just give us liberty just to be more wicked. No, his sacrifice wasn't meant for that. His sacrifice wasn't meant for us just to continually just break the law and just be bigger niggas. And that's not what the Lord did. His sacrifice was made so that through his blood, now we can be accepted in the eyes of Yahweh through his sacrifice. But we still got to give diligence to make our calling and election sure, because we don't know if we of the elect. So hey, the scripture says what? Seek the Lord 10 times more. Yahawashi was on a mission when he was on the scene. And nothing swerved and nothing stopped him from his mission, not even death. Okay? So Lord willing, this is an edifying lesson. I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us his truth, and much peace, love, and salutation to the elect. Shalom.